Hi you guys, how are you today? I'm sitting here. Oh, it's spring now. When I was last looking at the game, it was a cold, wintry day, much like here in real life. So did you guys see? Yesterday's recording was done ahead of time, so I didn't get to say it yesterday. So the night before last, not last night, the night before, did you guys, anybody get out to see the lunar eclipse? It was at, basically 4 a.m. here, and I was asleep. Hadn't been asleep long, and I wasn't asleep much longer, quite frankly, but I crashed through the one part I wanted to be awake for. But it turns out it was cloudy, and I wouldn't have seen it anyway, unfortunately. But yeah, it was. If you go to space.com, they were broadcasting the whole thing, and the Griffith Observatory has a YouTube thing up where you can watch the whole thing. It was quite impressive, actually. It was one of those events that, it is literally a once in a lifetime, actually once in a whole lot of lifetimes. So if you were one of the fortunate people who actually got to see it live, in person, so to speak, if you were standing outside on a cold November evening watching the sky and you got to see that, I'm actually envious. I think that's absolutely amazing. That is very, very, very cool. And look at me adding roads here in the assumption that I'm not going to be adding any more plants up here. Well, that could be a thing. Apparently it's going to be a thing. Really wasn't a clear, firm decision. Excuse me. I was just tired of running along here, and of course here is I can't add any more here, but anyway, yeah, so this event, apparently the last time there was an eclipse that lasted this long was in 1441. We're talking, was it 51 years? 1492. 51 years before Columbus decided to wander off to North America. Okay, this was around 50 years or so. 50, yeah, I think 50 years before Henry VIII was born. I'm using him because he's one we've generally heard a lot about because he was a nutcase. But oh, he was just a horny old toad. He wasn't nuts. He was just incredibly selfish. And oh, no, not that one. So this is a big deal. I mean, when you think about, those things felt like they were very long ago, and that is how long ago an eclipse like the one 2 nights ago actually happened. Since something like that has happened again, I think it's absolutely amazing. It is just absolutely amazing, and I'm kind of gutted that I missed it. I was not falling asleep last night. I was going to sleep early and then get up and go outside and brave the freaking cold it was last night. Not as cold as it's going to get. I mean, it's just cold for me because I don't like it. It really wasn't that bad. But, below freezing, so cold enough. But, yeah, I was going to try to get out anyway, and I just had a hard night, could not fall asleep, and then I crashed really hard for 4 hours. That's all the sleep I got last night. And, yeah, fun times. Anyway, so let's get back up here on this side of things. Yes, anyway, I missed it. I just blew it. I hope you got to see it, because it sounds like a pretty big deal. It sounds pretty cool. I'm just saying. It sounds pretty darn cool to me. Anyway, and tonight is the Beaver moon. The full moon, that it's called a Beaver moon. Now, I've always called it the frost moon, I'll be honest, and I guess it's had different names, but Beaver moon is one of the things that the full moon this month is called, because it's the time of year when busy little beavers get even busier trying to get in that last bit of food that's going to hold them through a long, long, hard winter. So they're working industriously, and apparently they work through the night for the most part. So today, this full moon this month, last night is called Beaver Moon. So that's kind of cool. So we had an amazing event. And there was something else that happened. It was really, really special, that eclipse. It was actually really pretty cool. So it was like the longest one since 1441. And it was also a time when, what's the word? Selenelian. I'm sure I'm probably saying it wrong, but it's just basically it's an event that can happen or shouldn't happen, but it has to do with refracted light and blah blah blah. But there was a few moments when you could both see the moon in eclipse, a full moon in eclipse, meaning you know how that works with the sun and everything, and the sun coming up at the same time. Yeah, it was a pretty exciting night in a lot of ways. And I'm afraid I missed the vast majority of it because I suck and can't get things done right. But it would have been lovely. It would have been lovely. And I hope you guys got to see some of it because that's pretty cool. It is a pretty cool thing, I gotta tell you. I like it. We're just doing a few details here in the farm today. I just been irritated running back and forth along here and not having a path to run on. Everything feels so slow. So I'm tidying up the place. And if I want more flowers, I guess rather than, just extend those, I'll put something on the other side. Because there does seem to be a fair bit of space here. It looks like we could add, especially in these two particularly. Looks like we could have added, this is the same length to the river as that, almost. I could have added more here. Or maybe this is where I'll put some of the extra things, like the big three. The orchids, the white orchids, orange daisies, and the Queen of the Damned tulips. That's not what they're called, but apparently that's what... I blame Twisty Maze, but that's how I'm thinking of them these days. Looks like we've got to go down. Oh no, he's got both of those. That's good. These are being looked after. Wow, somebody's been in since I was here last, because the whole field was just covered in... I had managed to plant just a whole pile of things that were all quest related, so that was pretty cool. We need quinces for a fruitful decision. This was one of those times when those reused quest names turn out to be more accurate. It's a fruitful decision, and we're picking fruit. I like the ones that say good things come in trees, and it's all just, fish and flowers or something. That's always entertaining to me. I'm easily entertained, apparently. Oh, do my houses need looking after? They do. So I'd finally managed to get my tickets here up to over 5,000 yesterday. But then, of course, as soon as I do, I stop doing this because I always find this part just slow. They walk so slow indoors. I'm always... My whole body's trying to urge her along. It's quite exhausting. And I tend to not do these near often enough. It's going to be even worse later because when I get everything moved into the places they're supposed to be, I'm going to have to go click, click, click to 3 different places to be able to do the 4 houses. So that'll be a thing. The sun is coming up and it's right in my eyes. I'm sitting here, I can barely see the screen. It's just one of those moments where it only lasts for a few minutes, but there's not much I can do about it. There's just that little gap between the curtains and the sun and where I sit that at this time in the morning I'm getting blinded. I noticed that the space.com has got a sign up. They send you emails and stuff about space news, and I think because I need more emails that I'll never get a chance to read. But I think I'm going to go, I might sign up for that. I might get to read the odd one. I'll get to read the headlines and at least decide if it's something that, I can't live without. I got a new key this morning from a new game. It's called World Box. Instead of like a sandbox, it's a world box. It's one of these you're a god and you can create all the things games. It actually looks quite cute. Oh, we've got things to harvest here too. Alrighty. Lots of diamonds. Not that we need them anymore. From this point on, they're just for the hell of it. No particular reason for them at all. I do love this little game just for the sheer peace and relaxation that you get from it. And it is quite creative that you can build every farm a little different and try again, or recycle and try again, and recycle is better than starting a new one. But yeah, I was thinking about starting what I'd call a test farm and just use the mods to get the maximum diamonds, tulip, or diamonds, ribbons, tickets thing, and then possibly even get into the files and give myself pots and pots of money, and then just see the actual cost of some things, just to be able to document, this is what it costs at this level, this is what it costs at that level, and then have a nice tidy total at the end. I've looked for stuff like that and I've seen the numbers, that I don't know that they're accurate. And we all know the internet it never makes mistakes. But what if it did this one time? It would be a shame. What was it? Something I was looking at the other day. It was some series I'd watched years ago, and I thought, I'd like to see that last season. I really can't remember a lot about it, and I think I'll just watch it over while I'm working. Like if I'm in the room here doing something, I'll just turn it on and let it play, because I know most of kind of the big picture of what happened, but I'd kind of like to hear it over again. And it was something I couldn't remember, so I looked it up. And I don't care if it's a spoiler or not. I've already seen it, like whatever. So I looked it up and I read that and I went, man, I don't even remember that. That's terrible. Turns out, after I don't even know how many websites I looked at that all said the same thing. Turns out it wasn't actually true. I didn't remember it because it never happened. I read 4 or 5 different websites, giving you these spoilers, explaining in great detail what happened to this one character. And then I watched the episode that night, and it's like, oh, wow, like none of that actually happened. Brilliant. Oh, my goodness. So one person writes something wrong, and then 10 people parrot it. And then some big website gets a hold of it and copies it over because they're too lazy to do their own research. And then the whole internet thinks something is a fact when in fact it never happened at all. You gotta love the internet. I'm reading books by both Hank Green and John Green at the moment. Loving them. God, these men are incredible. The writing is so good. And every time I finish one of their books, it's like, okay, I just got to read this one over again, just so I can sit and collect all of the quotes that I will want to remember for the rest of my life. These men are so insightful, the both of them. They're just, oh my God, I just have no words. They are absolutely amazing. If you have not read anything by Hank or John Green, you should go out and do that. I mean, The Fault in Our Stars was an incredible book. I would never read it again because it made me really sad. So it's like, no, I'm not going to read that again. I don't need sad stories. But I'm reading, what is it, A Foolishly Beautiful Endeavor, or I'm sure I'm getting the titles wrong, but there's 2 of them, and they're, oh goodness gracious, they're wonderful. I'm just, yeah. I I have no words to express my admiration. They're amazing. They are absolutely freaking amazing. Okay, so I'm going to go over here and do some more of these because we will need more of this. Gosh, excuse me. And it lets me get rid of some fruit. I'm trying to keep things sold down because I don't need massive, I don't need 10,000 of them anymore. So if I have a lazy day where I don't feel like it, I won't have to sell anything off. I can just let the game run. So, cool stuff. Anyway, yeah, as I wander around the farm, I'm seeing so many things. Like the big strokes are in. But there's so many things. Damn it. That are not completed. There's this little touches, like roads that just end for roads that just end for some reason, plants that aren't where I want them to be. I just mean like the decorative, the trees and the things like that. You know, no bridges across the canal where there's a road, lighting that's here but not there. Yeah, there's a lot of that. There is a whole lot of that, unfortunately. But it's coming. I just keep trying to touch up a bit here and there as I can. I hope somebody out there got to see that eclipse in person. It was just, I actually really wanted to. So I went to bed early thinking I could, you know, wake up later and do that. And then I didn't fall asleep for so long. Around the time I fell asleep, I was thinking, you know what, at this point, you might as well just get up. The lunar eclipse will be starting soon, or had just started. Actually, yeah. And it's going to be going on for a long time. Just, you know, head outside, get dressed, head outside and see if it's still, it was clear when I went to bed, so I thought I'd be able to get up and see it. It turns out Essential was up, bless her heart, because she is the most amazing person with the most amazing freaking willpower for stuff like that. It's like, this is interesting, this is special, I shall partake. She just, I can't, she has no idea how much I admire her for things like that. She just blows me away. My kid absolutely astounds me sometimes. She's got more character and willpower and get it doneness than anybody I've ever known. I don't really know what I'm going to do with these places. I'm just sort of randomly putting trees in right now. There's no bad side to putting trees in, right? More trees, more butter. And yeah, I could be making every square inch of the place into crops for all those flowers I thought I was going to get to plant and didn't get to. Yes, I'm still bitter. I have wasted so much space when it turned in this particular, yeah, this farm is just wild with wasted space if you're going to consider space that's not actively making you money. It's pretty bad. But then again, I'm hoping it's going to feel like a nice place by the time I'm done. And that will do. There's no reason for this to be here. I use it to get to the horses, so why don't I put it, I don't know, somewhere near the horses? Wow, what a concept. I am quick like a bunny. Yes, I don't even have to get in the pen and worry about the horses running into it or getting hurt on it. No, it's all good. This has actually worked out pretty well for harvesting them. The one part I find wrong is right here where it branches, because you have to come up here to harvest, and then these guys, you know, or come over here and things get wrong. Or you can go up all the way, but then you have to, you know, you can go back this way, but you have to backtrack. And I've been thinking about changing the changing the flow of the critters here to make this a little more straightforward. There is a way to do it that's not too bad, because I did it once going, oh, that works better if I go this way, you know, if I do it in this order. It worked out pretty well, but apparently I can't ever remember what that is, so I think I'm going to change the flow of my horses a little bit, which probably means they'll end up moving out into this bare spot here in front of us. Because I was wondering what to do with that, and I think it's probably just going to end up being, you know, pasture, horse pasture. So I can, I mean, I don't mind if these guys wander back and forth, because that's cool. Oh yeah, I was thinking about adding low grass everywhere so it would all be the same, but since I don't actually know where the horses are going to end up being for sure, because I think I'm going to change this. I mean, I think I can have them weave back and forth so they look scattered still, but have it have the flow for harvesting a little easy, a little more straightforward. I mean, it's not that big a deal, but you know, a little more seems like it would be good. Anyway, guys, I think that's pretty much all I'm going to be doing here today. We've got the quince, we can wait on the pigs, we wait on the more pigs, the Romanesco is done, the ginkgo, or well, we just have to harvest it, that's there. We have to wait on the horses, the black peppercorns, wait on the horses. Oh good, I love it when they're double like that. It feels so efficient. So basically everything here is just waiting out the critters, waiting out the quests. There's not much I can do except, well, I guess I could finish that one. I could do this one. Indeed, I could. Like so. Does that finish it? That finishes it, and it's okay. A foxfire tree. And wait on the chickens. I guess I should check my farm hands and make sure there's somebody looking after the chickens. Somebody ran out of time there with the shard. But I don't have any more crops to plant at any rate. It's just waiting out the chickens and the trees. Oh me, oh me, oh my. And I suppose, you know what, I want to level these up too, so. I think, is the shard at 250 yet? It's got to be very, very close. It's 250, so there's the total amount you're going to get from these. It's just over 20,000, and that is more than half the flowers will ever give you. Or all the low-end flowers anyway. A good solid chunk of them never get that high. 20. So you make 20 grand per plant, plant. Yeah, that's pretty good. That is actually pretty good. So I want to get these leveled up next and find out what because they pay pretty well too. These pay pretty well. We're only at 117 and we're getting 10,000 there. So I've wondered if, you know, how far they'll go. I've never leveled those all the way, so they'll be next on the list. But wow, leveled up. Very nice. Oh, we got another bare spot over here. This is random. This is what happens when you just run out of season, probably. It's like, oh, well, oops, summer. Or, you know, you're tired and you just misclick. You just, you know, you harvest and you don't click right to finish. You plow it and then you move on and you don't even realize it. So let's get these foxfire trees. 170, so that'll take, well, I think these are every season. That won't take very long. Oh, and we got to check the farm hands for the chickens there. There we go. Make sure everybody's happy. My happy little chickens. Actually, they have somebody already. They have somebody. These guys, the horses are done. That can't be done. Everything else is done. The fields are planted, and guys, I'm done too. I hope you are having a good day. If you got to see the eclipse, tell me your story. I'd love to see that. Thank you for your views and comments and follows and the likes. You guys are so appreciated. Bye-bye, guys. I hope you are having a fabulous weekend.